We're going to be talking about Ragnir. I'm going to go over his combos on both weapons first, then we'll talk signatures. I'm just going to briefly touch on the most important stuff. If you need in-depth weapon guides, that's linked down below. Side light is going to be your combo starter. You're typically always going to want to do a dash down light to follow that up. And the reason you do this is it's a true unjumpable string into your KO option of recovery, and also as you're seeing here, you can read a dodge for outrageous amounts of damage. If the opponent dodges left or right and you gravity cancel it, you get crazy follow-ups, or you can just wait and see what they do, and oftentimes get a pretty strong punish. It doesn't matter how much damage you've done to the opponent, they don't get pushed far enough away for this not to work. Although the spacing can change whether or not you'll have to do a little 180 before you let that recovery rip. And also, you can use this to catch dodges. You saw up and away, and here up and through me, I just turn around in recovery. Side light is also going to be your starter on the axe. You can do side light nair, and if they're at like white health, you have to be far away when you hit them or they'll be too low. If that happens, you can use a down air instead, which also has a lot of very strong follow-ups. But if you're too far, the down air whiffs. The down light is an easy option, although it doesn't give you nearly as much reward. You can either wait for the opponent to dodge, or chase them down at low damages with a read. I also like doing a gravity cancel D-light as an unjumpable string after nair. That forces the opponent to dodge, which is going to give you a lot more follow-ups. Even at the mid and high ranges, you can really pressure their dodge. In the KO range, it's even more threatening. Recovery covers a ton of dodge options, and the ones that it doesn't, ground pound will. Alright, let's talk about the signatures. Ragnir Qatar side sig obviously has good force, the speed's reasonable. However, just throwing this out mindlessly in neutral is not very good. What this move is great for is whiff punishing. In situations where you can't find like a D-light and a recovery, or they could dodge out of that anyway, you can reliably use situations where you can force the opponent to dodge up. Like after landing a down air, they're going to want to dodge away from you. If they stay on the ground, it's risky. So a lot of times they'll go up into the air, and you can rip a neutral sig to punish that dodge. It's a very potent anti-air. Down sig has really great force, but it's got a downward trajectory. This is best in situations where you can read a dodge or recovery coming back to stage. Just beware that it can be pretty telegraphed. Use it sparingly. Axe side signature is very similar. It's great off stage. On stage, it doesn't have great KO potential, and you can get some pretty janky trajectory depending on how it hits. So Axe is good at making opponents want to dodge back down towards the stage with their air follow-ups. N-sig has to be timed properly, but you can bait the opponent into dodging down right into your signature. Down signature is a gimmicky move that can be charged to keep an active hitbox out. I think that it's most viable used to follow up a down air and catch that dodge back to stage. Ragnir is a character who can either play a kind of slow reactionary game or very aggressively just kind of exploding damage out of nowhere. You want to be using a lot of things like axe down air to get follow-ups in neutral, find those Qatar side lights and get your big damage strings out. You can use moves like Axe N Light in neutral to cover the opponent trying to stuff you with a button or put out a bad signature. You also want to become comfortable fighting off stage. Don't always go for the most obvious option, even though you have so much gimp potential. Sometimes things like Qatar Nair, like Axe Recovery, can be very good for killing people off the stage. You don't want to be over-reliant on signatures. Use your very strong light kit that Ragnir has to build consistent damage and find reliable KOs. and use signatures when they count, when you can close out a stock. Don't be afraid to frustrate your opponents and capitalize on their mistakes.